Okay, the cool thing about this, it could also do trig. Don't forget, earlier we set the calculator to do radians. We're always in calculus unless it specifies degrees. We're always going to do radians. So what we're going to do is go back to, I always, again, I keep saying this, I always personally, whoops, I always put it in y is equal to. So I'm just going to write the next function in y2 instead of y1. I might need this one later. I don't think we do, but just so I have the functions I'm using. Sometimes on the AP exam, there are more than one function in one problem. So put the functions, you have them listed here. If you enter them correctly, you know that they look right. The one hiccup that the 89 has is that if you have, for example, in over here, you have 4x times sine of x. When you have x times sine of x, the calculator will read x sine of x as like one variable unless you put a times symbol in between. So you're going to have to write 4, you can write 4x, but you have to write times in between the x and the sine. The same if we're going to do natural log and other logarithms, if you start using x or other variables with logs or trig or anything in front of that, the 84 would understand that you're talking about sine times x, but the 89 does not understand that because you can actually make like words a whole variable. So it reads it as some special word instead of x times sine of something. So when we enter this, we have to be super careful. So I'm going to put in the numerator cosine, and let's just make this a little bit bigger so you can see here in blue is your cosine. So second cosine of 2x, so 2x. There you can write times x, or you could just write 2x. That's both of them work because there's no other variables to interfere with that. Then plus 4 times x, or just 4x, but now this is where you need the times. So you have to put times or else it will misconstrue x sine as like one big variables. So you're going to put times x times sine of x n parenthesis of the numerator, and then divide, and in the denominator I have x plus, and then I need to do another set of parentheses, pi over 6. Now pi happens so often, it is right here in blue. So second pi divided by 6, n parenthesis for the fraction, n parenthesis for the denominator. And let's see if we entered that correctly. If I did not, let's see here, let's make it a little bit bigger. If I did not, what I like about this, it will, oh, now it's stuck again. It will show you, this is what it's supposed to look like. If it doesn't look like it does in the picture, you forgot a parenthesis around it. So I have to go in and adjust. Did I forget to end a parenthesis? Should I have had a set of parentheses around like the cosine and the sine function? Those things. So it's easy to see if you made a mistake there. So now I've entered the function. I'm going to go into the home. See, now it's doing this funny business again. I want to go to the home screen. I'm hoping I'm hitting the, I did. Okay, so let's move this fella up again. And now remember, my limit is in y2. So essentially, I'm doing the same directions as I did for 2 moments ago. So I could use the arrow up key and go grab that, highlight what I want, and hit enter. Now that's in the active bar, and I can go in and change it. Instead of saying y1, I can use the arrow key and write y2 instead. Or I could have just started over and used the calculus button, F3, and picked limit again. Now I already have this, so I'm going to go and change this to y2 up here. I'm editing that. And we're going to, it's not going to be 2, but it's going to be pi over 6. So start parenthesis, pi again was over here, divided by 6, end parenthesis for the fraction, and it's already ended the parenthesis for the limit. Hit enter, And there's my value. Now, what's nice about having it set to auto or exact, this one will give you the exact value for the limit also, simplified. So it is 2 pi plus 3 over 2 pi, or some people write 1 plus 3 over 2 pi, whatever. Both of them are fine. So here, let's say I wanted that as a decimal. I'll show you how to do that in a second. So I have the limit here is 2 pi plus 3 over 2 pi, an approximation like that. If I wanted it as a decimal, let's just look at the keyboard again. Down here over the enter button, instead of enter, do you see there's the approximation symbol? So right now, what the last command I have is in the active button. I'm going to just say, okay, well, take my last active thing and approximate it. So I'm going to use the yellow button or the green button or whatever and hit enter. And now it will give it to me as a decimal instead.